Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Africans, and especially my fellow youth. As usual, it is Dominic. You are most welcome to MJD Build Africa, where we raise the voice of Africans, where we shape the future of youth, and where we change the dreams into reality of our fellow youth of Africa. Today we are so delighted to host our brother in our studio of MJD Build Africa Podcast. Sir, you're most welcome to MJD.
Thank you so much, Brother Dominic.
Yes. How are you doing there outside? How is life?
Life is so good, life is so cool. We're
Yes.
just pushing towards the end of the year and Christmas is on the door knocking. So,
Are you ready for Christmas?
yes, we're more than ready always.
Should you invite us? Should we come for that Christmas?
You're welcome.
Thank you. My brother, our followers of MJD will love to know who you are, because I know you're a known person outside here, but the majority of people from Ouagadougou, from Botswana, from Lusaka, from Rwanda, from Kinshasa, from Bujumbura, from Nairobi, and other countries around Africa, they may not recognize you, but at least they would love to know you.
First and foremost, I would like to appreciate our viewers for taking their time to follow up the MJD Build Africa Podcast. And also thank you for having come up with this very good initiative that is opening the minds of so many Africans and non-Africans across the globe. My name is Charles Rujumba, and I always have a code name called the Citizen. I'm a citizen everywhere. I'm a citizen in Nairobi, I'm a citizen in Uganda.
As long as it is on total of Africa.
Everywhere. I believe in humanity. But most important, I am born from Uganda. I'm a proud Ugandan who has nationality by birth. Far from that, I am a businessman
Yes.
under Rujumba and family ages, and we do a wide range of things, but we focus so much recently in construction and building, where we are much focused on granite and marble. Besides that, I went to school. My parents paid for me. I went to school.
So you are a scholar,
I'm a
or you are the elite?
I think I'm still an elite, just trying to strive to become a scholar, because a scholar is a long way to go.
Yes.
But I'm a political scientist who has just graduated in the 32nd graduation ceremony of Kampala International University.
Kampala International University.
Yes,
The mighty university.
the mighty
Private.
university. I guess you know it.
Hey.
We graduated with a Bachelor of International Relations and Diplomacy.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be here. I think I'm still fresh,
Yes.
since I'm still a fresh graduate in that field. And I always expect good things from MJD Build Africa Podcast.
Thank you, Mr. Rujumba Charles. You said that you are Ugandan by nationality, but we don't know if you're Ugandan by origin, because there was migration of Africans, of course, where most of people, they are in position not because of their willings, but because of scrum and partition. So, apart from being Uganda, could you be proud of being Uganda, or if there was no scrum and partition, you would love to be either a Kenyan, a Sudanese, a Rwandese, Congolese, a Tanzanian, or other country around?
According to the Constitution of Uganda, I think I'm a proud Ugandan. Not even to think, I'm a proud
Just because of
Ugandan.
the Constitution, or because of the way people...
You know, a constitution is very crucial when we're analyzing matters like citizenship, because citizenship can be challenged in the courts of law. Like, laws can change
Amendment.
through the amendment in parliament or a decree or anything. But what's most important in this case, that my parents or my grandparents, by the time there was scrum and partition in Africa, those grandparents, they were already in Uganda by then.
Now, Mr. Charles, you are a proud Ugandan, a proud African,
Yes.
right? Today, I want us to discuss on region integration.
Okay.
When we talk about regional integration, I think we explain it. That is East African community, specifically. But I want us exactly to talk on economy of East African community, trade and market, single market, tariffs, such kind. Now, Charles, as a graduate of international relations, I think in international relations, that's where we study about foreign policy of countries. We study about relationship between countries, which is where there is cooperation, where there is bilateral businesses. Now, Charles, as a businessman, as a diplomat, actually, I'm forgetting, but we used to call you ambassadors.
Yes.
I think it's a big title. Sometimes just you don't want to mention it in public, but majority of us as your peer, we know you as an ambassador, Charles. Actually, there's a day you called me. I was somewhere, seated with very big people, and among them there was an ambassador of a certain country here in Uganda. And then when after seeing the name, Ambassador Charles, he was like, "Who is that person?" I was like, "Sir, sorry, he's just a youth, but we call him ambassador because of his activities and the whole thing he do for betterment of the future of Africa." So, Mr. Charles, what people first of all, in first hand, what is the region integration? And people would love to know. There's some people who don't understand first region integration and what does it do.
Thank you so much, Brother Dominic. First and foremost, about the title of having that title of ambassador, it's because the youth in Africa, we believe and trust in the future. As we are here today, we are discussing about the future. And I am now a career diplomat because I've graduated in international relations. If you ask me anything about diplomacy, I must have knowledge about it. Otherwise, I may have gone to school, got education, but left when I've not learned if I fail to answer anything in diplomacy and international relations. So I'm always proud of hearing my colleagues calling me ambassador. Because I have served my country, I have served my people, and I'm still serving my continent and the globe. Because as we're here today, we are sharing with the world what we know about regional integration. As far as regional integration, to my own understanding, this is all about the interconnectedness of states with a common goal, either political, economical, or social. But how are you speaking about East African community? East African community has a very good region integration treaty, which focuses on both economic, social, and political reasons. And whenever you speak about East African community, there are people I always try to appreciate here. The founding fathers, like the likes of Milton Obote, the Julius Nyereres, and the Jomo Kenyatta Senior. These guys did a great work to do the initiation of the East African community. And in the same way, I also want to thank the spirit which His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni came with, that spearheaded the revival of East African community when it had almost collapsed. And when we talk about East African community, me as a Ugandan, who is part of the East African community, which started with just only 3 countries, namely Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, and now it has 8 member states.
First initiation of East African community, time of Nyerere.
Yes, it had only 3 member states, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. But as we speak of today, there are 8 member states. And who knows, maybe the 8th one and the 10th ones are coming. So I want to appreciate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the current leadership of East African community.
Yes.
Because they have done a tremendous job. Not only for political reasons, but for so many reasons. You spoke that we're going to talk about economic diplomacy. I don't want to go so wide. Let me try to focus on economic diplomacy. If you look at East African community, when we became together as a family, right now there is free movement of goods and services. Something that was very crucial because these are public goods, most of them. If you look at a country like Uganda, it's a landlocked country. It cannot survive without Kenya and Tanzania because these are not landlocked countries.
So we don't have port.
No, Uganda, we don't have a port. We are a landlocked country. But we have the right to the port.
Now, that when you go deep in that, it will bring, actually, to just make me to remind about some rumors that, actually, some trading news that have been taking place now about the Indian Ocean.
Yes, but it's very right.
Indian Ocean.
It's very right.
That is ours.
It's very right.
What makes me laugh when I was just, I was from here to the podcast when I reached home. And so it's where Mzee said, I made a statement, I said that Indian Ocean is ours, even the moon is ours.
But
so which means that even the moon belongs to Uganda.
No, but
then true, you're right. But also Mzee was right about it because looked like land in Uganda, but of course we have right on it as a South African community.
In a civilized society and international law, Uganda has the right to the coast. Because it can't survive without it, unless if you want to bring political chaos like wars and so on and so forth, which we don't want to see because we are under an umbrella of East African community.
Yes.
But then, I told you, if I want us to look at it, that right now, we have harmonized standard codes when it comes to international trade and East African community common markets. This is something that is very crucial, that has eased the trade between or among these states in the East African community, whereby goods which are manufactured within that region, they are free to move without paying a single penny of taxes. Goods from these states with a certificate of origin that this good is manufactured in Uganda, it can go to Kenya without paying any tax.
Now, Mr. Charles, what are the major benefits of East African community, East African integration in terms of economy? Because majority of local people, they don't understand. How can you convince an ordinary person to understand the benefits of region integration in terms of economy?
In terms of economy, people should try to understand it because it is very crucial, and it was one of the main reasons why we started the East African community. One, you need numbers. If you look at the population of all these member states, it's growing day by day.
Yes.
Okay? And production is also increasing. If you look at globalization and development, we no longer depend on our indigenous sources to survive. No. These days we depend on processed food from factories. We depend on advanced so many things. Now, if you look at it, there is no country which can live on its own without depending on others. So, the market that we have as an East African community, I may not have the statistics offered on my head today, but that market is very big for any manufacturer in any of these member states to share that market. And this market help on the GDP and the GNP of that country, or those states, all of them, because these goods circulate all these areas. If you got services, I've seen so many Ugandans being flown to Aga Khan, Nairobi. And it's easy, do you know what? You don't need to first apply for a visa to go to those countries. We are under the East African community. So meaning you can travel without first applying for a visa. Isn't it very crucial? And you access services and come back. And sovereignty has been observed. Does not mean that this one has already the sovereignty of these member states. No. Then two, we also need to look at security. You cannot do trade without security. You need security. And we saw recently when there was a turmoil in Eastern DRC, in this area of Kivu, there was a standby force which was put in place by the East African community to go and pacify people whom they were calling rebels, but me, I don't call them rebels because they are fighting over a noble cause. Yes, I don't call them rebels, but of course I don't support what they are doing. But I pray that the responsible parties do the needful to resolve the political differences in DRC. Because it's very important. These are our brothers and sisters. And I appreciate the President Kagame and Tshisekedi for having signed the peace accord that has recently been signed in the USA. I've talked about goods and services. I've talked about security, trade. I want also to look at transport. There is an East African Community standard gauge railway. Its main importance is to facilitate trade or facilitate economic diplomacy. For us, we call it economic diplomacy, international relations. This is going to ease the movement of goods and services across the region, East African region.
Yes.
Look at fuel being transported in trucks. Many times accident has happened and these fuel trucks have exploded and killed thousands of people. But with a train, it is more safer. Look at perishable goods. When you use roads because of jam and so many other things, some of them rot along the way.
Yes.
But with the East African standard gauge railway, it is very easy. The train is very fast and it has all what it takes to make these goods reach the destination when they are still safe. 2, it is also cheaper. A train is cheaper compared to a bus because not everyone can afford a plane. Not everyone can afford a flight. So when you look at transport, so many things have been done. Not only East African standard gauge railway, but even when you look at roads, East Africa is now interconnected. I think you heard of recent, is it last year or this year? When there was chaos in the Ugandan parliament, people saying, how can the Ugandan government facilitate the construction of a road in DRC? But it was
a project.
Yes, but it was very crucial to facilitate trade because trucks which used to transport goods and services to Congo used to get stuck on the road, especially during the rainy season.
Yes.
And to those who are making noise, I'm sorry to call it noise,
yes,
but you know, politics is funny sometimes. People, they leave the most important issues
you go to mine
and go to minor. They just look at money, they just look at expenditure, but they don't look at the outcomes.
Yes.
Because when traders go here, sell their goods, they get the money which they bring back in circulation in our country. So apart from that, it has also, this transport has also increased FDI. How? When there is good transport network, when there is market, what else did I talk about? These are very important. They attract foreign investors. These foreign investors bring in foreign direct investments. If you look at most of the factories in Uganda, these factories are owned by Chinese and Indians. Can they be here without a conducive environment to facilitate their trade? No. And in this, we appreciate the East African community because Uganda cannot survive without these 2 other countries I talked about, because most of the imports and exports pass through Kenya and Tanzania to access the sea. So meaning it was a deal for us to be in the East African community, and I appreciate regional integration for this.
Now, Mr. Charles, Ambassador, now a local person, how can you convince a local person from a Toro region, where you come and Deputy King Andrew Mwenda comes from in Toro? How can you convince someone from Mityana, someone from Ishembabule? For us, you call Ishembabule, but in Uganda, it's Sembabule.
Yes, I know.
Now, when you got the name from Sembabule to Ishembabule, so for me, that's why I say Ishembabule. Now, from Sembabule, from Karamoja, from Karere Market, and from Bara Central Market, and from Kabale, that person will benefit from region integration as Uganda.
Well, you have a very good point, but it's not only about people from Kabale, people from Kisoro, people from Karamoja, people from Gulu, people from Mbali. It's about someone in Nakuru. It's about someone in Dodoma, it's about someone in Kilimanjaro, it's about someone in Kivu, it's about someone in
Bujumbura.
It's about someone in Gisenyi. All these people have benefited from region integration. How? In East Africa, we have so many agro industries. And we are lucky that the weather and the environment of the states in East African community facilitate agriculture. If you look at Uganda, they have the East African Breweries Limited.
Yes.
These people use sorghum and other things. And where does the sorghum come from? From our farmers. If you look around our country, we have so many agro industries. We have Jessa. Name other companies processing milk in Uganda here today. This milk comes from farmers deep down in the villages. Now, in the past, milk, a cup of milk used to be at 100 Uganda shillings. 100 shillings. Today, a cup of milk, it's at 1,000.
I bought it in the morning.
Yes.
At
how
1K?
much? Yes, at 1,000 Ugandan shillings. What is causing this inflation? The market and demand. Okay? And where does this milk go? It cannot be consumed within a single day.
Consumers from outside Uganda.
It's being processed and consumed both by Ugandans and non-Ugandans, by Kenyans and non-Kenyans. How does it happen? Being processed in industries. How do industries benefit this person apart from this person selling his milk direct to these factories? Because you say that some people don't have cows. So how do they benefit? Revenue is generated through customs and domestic taxes. Okay? When we export,
we import.
It helps us on the balance of payments because we import.
Yes.
And initially, as East Africans, we didn't have much to import. But now, since we have these agro-processed industries,
yes,
they're helping us to get exports. And this is very crucial on the balance of payments and international trade. Apart from that, the taxes we get, the domestic taxes we get from these factories or these companies, they also help us, the government, to accumulate resources that are providing services. If you look at the road network in Uganda today, it's improving day by day. If you look at the security and the defense sector in Uganda, it's very good that it has protected almost the whole of Great Lakes region. How do you build a strong army? You need resources. And where do you get the resources from? Taxes and well-wishers.
Now, Mr. Charles, don't you think, how do you think that the current wars that are in the region, if I'm to mention DRC, are the obstacle of progress of economy in the region? Don't you think that these current wars can be the obstacles of the successful economic or the progress of economic in the region? Because most of us, I think, we see DRC as the central market, if I'm to say, of region. And that central market is now attacked. Now, if the central market of the region are now under insecurity, don't you think that that is or could be the hindrance of the progress in the region?
Yeah, to a smaller extent,
yes,
it's a hindrance to the region.
That's to a smaller extent. To what extent?
To a smaller extent, it's a hindrance,
yes,
to the economy of the region. But I want to assure you that much as I don't support wars, but wars are also good.
Charles, I need to make clear, how can you say that wars are good? Now, people are losing their life, people are displaced, but wars are good. We need more clarification on that.
I think we are discussing international relations
Yes.
here. I want to borrow relief, or to give you an example of the French Revolution, the 1789 French Revolution in France, or in Europe during that time, where France had to lose King Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette. After that, chaos continued and was continued, where they even experienced the reign of terror.
Yes.
But what happened at the end of the day? Isn't France stable today? Sometimes we have to go through a series of conflicts for us to attain peace. If you look at Uganda, one of the most peaceful countries in East Africa today, it had to undergo a 5-year war, 1981 to 1986.
So you mean that this war that is in DRC now, it's not the hinder of the progress, but is better? Was it necessary?
I'm not saying it's important, but if the conflicts in DRC could not be settled by diplomacy or by round-table negotiations,
yes,
and this party decided to go to war, we acknowledge coercion
but we are
in
affected.
diplomacy.
But we are affected, on my view.
Now, what is most important is how are we going to resolve these matters. I want to appreciate our leader that I saw this very week
In Washington.
in Washington, leaders involved signing a peace accord. That means the efforts to address this. But then what you should also acknowledge is without tests like this, we cannot grow as a region. So now, not the whole of DRC is under war. And I've given you an example that Uganda has been constructing a road in DRC. Not facilitate the war to keep escalating, but to be able to transport its goods and services to DRC. Because without goods and services, or without any market, then the war cannot happen, because there would be no people in DRC. All people will die. If people don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have health services, they don't have education, they will die. So, but what is most crucial is we need to stabilize the market. We need to stabilize DRC as a region. And I've told you that is not our point of discussion, we as MJD Build Africa Podcast.
Yes.
Why? Because DRC is a sovereign state. I'm a Ugandan. There is an extent to which I can discuss the matters of DRC, unless you bring me here purposely to discuss about DRC, and I first seek
But
permission from
the reason why I
responsible
talked on this is to show that I said that all of us, we see DRC as the fertile land, country with minerals, which could help other East African regions to benefit, or like to grow as the region. But now, the exactly country that we should use as a driver in the progress of East African community is now under war, insecurity. Which means that there's no any country which is willing you to invest there now. And there's no you can invest there in means of transportation. As you know that a majority of people, if most of the food we eat comes from the East Africa, the Western Uganda, and especially in Gisoro and the Kaba, that side. So that is the nearest boundaries on the frontier of DRC. Which means there was a very active trade market there between North Kivu of DRC and Gisoro. Now it is closed because people cannot, are not willingly and cannot risk to invest there. So that's why I say that it should be the hindrance of the progress in the region.
Brother Dominic and our viewers, I want you to borrow this.
Yes.
You cannot harvest honey without bearing the sting of the bee.
Absolutely.
I have hope, and I believe DRC at one point will be stable.
It will be stable, yes, I accept. But
Let me drive my point. I want you to bring it to Somalia.
Yes.
Somalia was very unstable. I want to take you to go to Mogadishu,
Yes.
Bangladesh.
Yes.
It was very unstable. I want to take you to Sudan,
Darfur.
Darfur. At one point it was very stable. What is happening today? I want to bring it to South Sudan. And I've told you that let's allow the process to flow. That much as the conflict has been there for so long, I do believe this conflict is not going to last forever. And I believe today, DRC is a little bit stable compared to the past. There is a process that DRC is stabilizing today. If you look at South Kivu, much as there was a conflict last year, it is stabilizing. Okay? It's stabilizing. Agreements are being signed. Political negotiations are ongoing. And people are somehow able now to access goods and services. And the gunfires and gunshots are not like the ones which used to be there. Meaning, we should align our people to peace education when you go to conflict resolution. we should align our people to think of reforms, security reforms, political reforms, economic reforms, and find a way of addressing these issues and say that this conflict is ongoing, yes, but is it good for us? And when you talk about being a challenge to East African community, there has been several East African community summits to discuss the DRC issue, meaning as East African community, we are also concerned and we are working on this. But like the way how a woman can conceive, still she can't give birth in one day. Should we allow the due process to take place and we achieve the peace of DRC that we need? Just like we had the Rwanda genocide, and today, yes, as much as we lost lives of Rwandans, but today, it is the Singapore of East Africa.
Mr. Charles, now allow me to ask you about the single market, the term single market, and what clarification will you give on single market of East African community? How a person from Karere market, how a person from Kivu, from North Kivu in Ibirere market, how someone from Uvira market, someone from Kigali market, someone from Nyagatare market, someone from Mombasa, someone from Nakuru, someone from Nairobi, someone from Arusha, someone from Dodoma, someone from Dar es Salaam, and someone from Mogadishu, and even Juba and Kampala benefit from single market of East African community?
Those who have mastered the art of economics or trade, they have indeed benefited. That's why you see when war erupted in Khartoum, many Ugandans started crying and some of them became poor. How?
They were investing.
Because they were benefiting from international trade.
Yes.
And now, how is it beneficial for a common man to benefit from the single market?
Yes.
I've told you, for goods and services that are locally produced within the member states of East African community, they have a privilege of free movement across these member states. If their goods processed in a factory, they should have a certificate of origin. They are freely moving. If you look at Kenya and Uganda, of course there has been challenges arising from the quality of goods and services we are trying to export and import between these two states, especially maize and eggs
and milk.
But when these issues were addressed, have you had any other chaos? And what are the results? I'm seeing people building apartments in Chanja, people building apartments in Nakuru, people building apartments in Naivasha, and so on and so forth. How? It's because the common man, if you look at Uganda, it's very hard to find a temporary house today. Even if you go to Liantonde, even if you go to Kasese, even if you go to Karamoja, they are perishing. How? Household income is increasing. How? Due to the access of the single market. People are able to export their mangoes. People are able to export their eggs. People are able to export their milk. How do they export their milk? I've told you, since it has to go through processing, it is being sold to agro-processing industries. They process it, pack it very well, and export it. Recently, Uganda signed some bilateral agreements